Welcome to Gutsy Coach Week and Get Gutsy episode number 107 with Lisa Lamoreaux on Synchronicity, Creative Legacy, and Spirit. Welcome to Get Gutsy. I'm your host, Jenny Fennig, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you. A cutting-edge show blending business and spirituality, Get Gutsy serves up a potent blend of stories, lessons, and tips to help you make a massive impact in the world through your soul's work and your inspired life. No more going it alone, no more excuses. The world needs more brave women saying yes to leadership. Are you with me? Good. Let's get gutsy now. Hey everybody, Jenny Fennig here. Welcome to Get Gutsy. Welcome to Gutsy Coach Week. Welcome to Gutsy Coach Week. You can tell that this has been a very long journey. Not only the journey in creating all these episodes for Gutsy Coach Week here on the show, but we are recording this particular episode, and we'll get into it a bit with my guest because I know she's feeling it too. We are recording this episode the day after the presidential election, election day here in the United States. So, we're raw, like we're feeling it. It feel like it's been like this 2-year freaking longest ride ever to get to this point. And many of us are, disheartened. And then, many of us are freaking thrilled. So wherever you are on that grand scale, just know that you can get some amazing gems from what we're sharing here during Gutsy Coach Week and certainly within this conversation today. So hang with us. Let me give Lisa her official introduction and then we will get rocking. Lisa Lamoreaux is an accomplished professional artist and recent graduate of Get Gutsy Coach Training School. Shout out to Lisa. She specializes in the study and practice of creativity and personal development, specifically how creativity and the Jungian concept of synchronicity combined to create extraordinary lives for people and the role it plays in leadership. Ooh, I love that. That's hot. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. So let's just start where our hearts are right now. Actually, before we got on and started recording this, I had this deep desire to do a Facebook live stream. I had a few minutes and I'm on this quest to live stream for 30 days in a row-ish. And I was like, oh my God, that's the time that I'm going to have to live stream today because I often will fall asleep with my kids at night. And I just needed to take the night off because of just yesterday with the election day. So how are you feeling?
Oh my goodness. I think you said it earlier, just raw. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, I'm kind of surprised by my feelings. They're coming out from a really deep place. Mm-hmm. And I know that it's more than just me. Mm-hmm. That I'm feeling the feelings for.
Yes.
I think we just have a whole lot that we've been processing for, like you said, 2 years. For some of us, definitely over the last 2-3 weeks have been so intense. And so we just have a lot of thoughts and feelings and emotions that we're processing.
Yeah. And I feel like it's, like you said, you're processing more than just for you. It's like for others and lifetimes, ancestral lines, generations. I think that's been my biggest discovery. And it was just, it's like as a woman, my body is feeling things. I'm probably I really, yesterday was feeling nauseous. Today I'm just feeling me.
I know.
What is this? This is not, I don't ever remember really feeling these feelings in elections. It's been interesting. It's definitely been interesting. I had another podcast conversation prior to this one, and we were just talking about how lucky we are and how grateful we are to be coaches, though, to really have that. And so I want to ask you the question that I asked one of my other guests, which is, Lisa, let's say a client were to come to you and was feeling the feelings, had all the feels up in there, and was coming to you and saying, Lisa, I wasn't expecting to feel all this. I'm not sure what to do with it. I don't want to do my work right now. I just I'm considering moving to Canada, like I just am feeling really disheartened. How would you coach that person, Lisa? Curious.
I always think that there is a deeper dive into how we are feeling in the moment, and accepting how you feel, number one, and not layering on any judgment about how you're feeling. I know that's what I'm looking at right now. So I always use myself as a barometer when I'm talking to clients. And they can do that with themselves as well. Like, don't layer on judgment towards yourself for feeling a certain way in anything in life.
Right.
But actually just staying with the core feeling and being with it, and let that inform you of any actions that may be required. And I love the work of Byron Katie. Byron Katie asks some really critical questions. What do we know to be 100% true? Sometimes that's hard when we're clouded by strong emotions. Right? So we just have to live with the emotions for a little while. Look at them as clouds that come and go by. They just come, we look at them, and we let them go by. And you are so good at advocating for, just letting us feel what we're feeling. And I love that too. And so
I love that. Yeah, the feelings. And, from a coaching context, it's really that acknowledging and validating, that wonderful skill and tool that we have to simply acknowledge, I hear you right now. I hear what is coming up for you. I feel the pain that you are processing right now, and it is completely normal for you to feel like this right now. This has been a national journey that we've been on, and I know you got really involved in the campaign, and you were rallying the cause, and so you're going to feel disappointment right now. It's like that's an example of a tool that we would have as coaches. And then on the flip side, you may have a client who comes in, and this is interesting, right? You may have a client who comes in, and maybe you are like, go Hillary or go Democratic candidate, and then you have a client who's like doing backflips because Donald Trump won, or they're like this staunch Republican. And so can you hold that space? Can you, have your stuff and not let it leak out onto somebody else? Like, that is the ultimate, where you basically you like tap into that higher coach and realize that your job is to guide this client into going after what they most want, or honoring a success that maybe you wouldn't be celebrating, but they're celebrating, and like that's their personal quest. I think that's such a mark of a leader, and one who can embody kind of this spiritual component to what we've been working on within Gutsy Coach Training School, and certainly the type of coaches that we tracked in. Like, everybody who's come into our coaching school, they're not all on the same side of politics. We're not all even from the same country. So that's just such a powerful tool that we have as coaches, as guides, as leaders, to be able to honor our differences. So my hope, and where we're all going as a country, we're both American citizens, but we have a lot of listeners who are not, and that's awesome too. And I know there's a lot of the world who's like, what? Like, what? Yeah. And like, we let them down, and we're like, listen, this is where we are. Like, as a country, we got here. For one reason or another, we got here. But my hope and my intention is that we will band together as light workers, regardless of which side we fall on, and we will do our great work. And we will make an impact, and we will love each other, even if we don't see that from some of our leaders. I saw a comment on that, and which I thought was really interesting. Like, some of my best learnings have come from bosses where I'm like, I will totally do it opposite than they are.
Yeah. And leadership really is that fine line between getting yourself out of the way to hear who you're leading.
Yes.
You have to hear who you're leading, and you have to get yourself out of the way and make yourself an empty vessel in order to hear that, and then to find common ground for everyone. Find the common ground. And it always can be found. It always can be found, everybody.
Yes.
It may mean even more getting yourself out of the way, right?
Ooh,
right?
yeah, that's hard.
And just allowing for that. And, you know, my prayer, my hope for that is that Donald Trump actually becomes that beautiful empty vessel.
Yes.
I have a prayer that that's what he is, and we help him get to that.
Yes, and like that was our contribution. That's I'm with you on that. I said I hope that this office of the President of the United States helps him evolve into the person he is meant to be here and the type of leader we truly need. And I hold that prayer with you, and I am choosing to believe that that is what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Damn it. Woo! I feel better now. Like,
okay, me too.
We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. And then again, for those of you who are like, dude, I freaking love Donald Trump. He's the best man ever. Like, awesome. Like, I want to hear your point of view on that. And I think that's what this process has taught me is like, well, yeah, tell me more about how you're thinking on that, because I'm not seeing it, but this doesn't mean that it can't be seen. It doesn't mean that it's not there.
Yeah. I live in a house divided. And it's intense because I am really being challenged to not shut down and to listen. And I tell you, like, it brings up this deep, like, anxiety where I want to run out the door.
Yeah, we do.
And so, you know, metaphorically, let's just not do that. Let's not run out on each other ever, really.
Oh, I like that.
Stay in the game.
Yeah. Let's not run out on each other. I write things down. Let's not run out on each other. That's what I do. I write nuggets down during these interviews, because this is always the message Spirit has for me, comes out through these conversations. And so that's why I love my podcast so much. And that's why we have, been in the game for a year now, which is like blowing my mind. And I'm so grateful for all of it. Let's not run out on each other, and let's not run out on ourselves. Because I think, like you said, you want to run out. It's like you want to flee. And so much of this happens too within the personal development space, within the business growth space. Like, we kind of come in maybe with rose-colored glasses, or like, woo, I'm going to go for it, and it's going to be like a home run. You know, my first time at the plate, I'm going to hit the home run. I'm going to run around the bases, and the whole stadium's going to cheer for me, and it feels so amazing, and like, I'm just going to keep hitting home runs. And guess what? The first time at the plate, like, you may freaking strike out. You might not even get up to the plate because you don't even have the right uniform yet. Like, you just don't. And so I see it a lot, you know, in my work as a coach, and I'm sure you've seen it already with the work you've been doing in coaching. You know, our biggest obstacle is ourselves. You know, the biggest person who's going to freaking run out on you is you. And that is the work that we do as coaches. You know, I have it, you know, it's like any program I'll run, I'll have at least one who wants to bail. At least one. It's like the going gets tough, the heat is on, and they're like, I'm bailing. Like, I can't do this. It's too damn hot in here. So that is the work that we do as coaches, is to say, you know what? No, you're not going to bail. You have like certain structures set up. So like, you protect yourself as a business owner from people who flake because it gets too hot in there. And I want our listeners to realize, like, that is one of the biggest gifts that we can offer our clients, is that we hold them to the thing that they say they want to do, which really is the piece of their evolution, even when it's hard, right? And so how, for your own personal journey, Lisa, I know even within your time in our training and Get Gutsy Coach Training School, like, you hit up against some stuff. Like, how did you navigate that when, you know, you find yourself in the hurricane?
You know, Jenny, I love this conversation, because this brings me to a knowing in myself that if I can get just enough space between what happens in my life that is unexpected and my path that I know and feel committed to, and I want to be going down, I know that this is the direction I'm going, I can look at the roadblocks that come in as, oh gosh, when you're in it, you know, this is just going to sound so trite, but gifts, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you're in it, you're like, yeah, I don't go away, because I don't even like you right now, because the idea that this is a gift is just like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Okay.
Right.
Hear that in yourself, and then go, and it is. And it is. It's not taking away, it's not banishing that instinct in us to run. It's not banishing it. It's actually going, okay, yeah, I want to run right now. I want to run away. I want to stop this project. I want to not get up on that stage. In fact, I'm going to not do it. You just listen to yourself saying that and you go, and I'm going to go do it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep going forward. Mm-hmm. I know this to be my mission, my purpose, my passion, and I'm going to have something in me that's going to try to take me out of the game. Mm-hmm. And that is true for everyone. It's true in groups too. And like you were mentioning in, each of your programs, you always have someone that wants to, leave. Mm-hmm. There's an amazing process out there called Group as a Whole. And it is, I just love it so much. I could talk for days about Group as a Whole. The idea is that each of us comes to a group as a complete and whole person. Each of us. We have everything within us, every archetype. Good, bad, ugly, beautiful, all of it exists in us as an individual. We come to a group and we suddenly begin to see our weaknesses and our strengths rise up, okay? Some of us have a great strength at sticking at it, right? Some of us have a great strength at running. That could be a strength, okay? Yeah. Or it could be, I want to check out of the situation. So in a group, what you can look at, Jenny, is owning up to the part of you that wants to run. Yeah. If you see that somebody has a particular habit for leaving, they're good at that. And you can help them not run by owning up to your own desire to run in hard situations.
Definitely.
Okay. So just as someone in a group might have a really beautiful way of expressing love, right? If all of us were able to own up to the idea that we have this ability to express love, that person is going to come in and the group will feel more of the love.
Right.
So the idea in a work situation, and Boeing airplanes is, I live in Boeing land in the Northwest here. They employ Group as a Whole in their training.
Oh, wow.
To actually look at groups and see who's acting out and how can I own up that piece of myself so that they can integrate more into the group.
Nice.
It's a beautiful bit of work for groups.
Oh, I like that. Now, is that like a book or is it just a process? Like what?
It's a process, and there hasn't been very much written on it, interestingly.
Well, maybe that's something you're going to be focusing on in your work. So. That's really powerful. That's really powerful. That's helpful for me. And because a piece of coaching, if we choose to go down that road, is to lead groups. I think that's one of the coolest things about being a coach is you can bring together, what you feel is like a like-spirited crew to take them through a journey. And I do love the group work. I love the private work as well. I tend to like the private work best when it's like within a larger context of a group, because then they're being served by the group, they're being served by the material, and then they get some, like private time as well. But that's very, very cool, and I'm sure helpful for our listeners who are either leading groups or want to do that as they step more fully into leadership as a coach. So tell us more about your backstory, Lisa. You have done like a gazillion things in your professional career, right? Like, corporate leader, artist, now you're a coach. Like, what is the thread you believe weaves through the work that you've done and this mission that you're on?
In all of it, I recall at around the age of 20 or so, I had a few real devastating experiences in my life right around that time that I had to figure out a way to get out of myself. I had to solve these problems entirely by myself. And I refused to believe that I would be, or that I was a victim to the circumstances. And I realized that my creative imagination could get me anywhere else that I wanted to be. That this situation that I was in did not have to be the way it was, and I was set on getting out of it. And so I began to focus my thinking on my imagination about how in the world I could possibly get out of that situation. And I began to take inspired action, which is different than just running scared, right? Taking any action that you see. Inspired action, meaning I felt that the next step was coming from a place of heart or spirit or soul that was more efficient, more direct, didn't waste time. It was go here now. It was a message, and I don't want to make it sound like I was hearing a voice of some sort, because it doesn't occur that way for me, but it is a tapping into the universe. So it's my creative imagination, and it's taking the next inspired action to get the results I want. And I began specifically employing that at about the age of 20, and I continued forward and did just the coolest things. I've just got the craziest. And okay, so here's what they are, really. It all comes down to synchronicity for me, which is that moment that we are internally and externally aware of our internal environment and our external environment, and we're able to make meaning in a way that allows us to take inspired action. And so in my, I don't know, between 20 and 30, I guess it was, I did just really cool things in the corporate world. And there was always an element of me searching for that thing that felt interesting to me. So my translation of that was in marketing. So for many years I was in marketing. Or I was always I would get a job and I would create a job. I would create a position that appealed to me and pitch it, and then somehow there was a position where I would be in a marketing position in almost every company that I worked for. And I just had the most incredible synchronicities occur for me that I maintained. I call myself the open-minded skeptic, because as much as I talk about esoteric things, I also have this other huge skeptic part of my brain that goes, okay, what just happened and what is that about? And I really need to understand this on a left brain side of my brain. I want to understand the science behind it. And several years went by. I knew I was dissatisfied with the corporate life I was living. There was a deeper sense of expression I knew I wanted to put out into the world, but I didn't know exactly what that was. And I was I'm a huge advocate of counseling, therapy, coaching, whatever it is, and different types of healing modalities. And I was seeing a therapist at the time, and I said, I have a secret. I really want to be a therapist. And she said, well, why is it a secret? And I go, because I'm so messed up. I have no business being a therapist. I'm so messed up. Look at me. And she looked at me and she's like, what makes you think we have it all together? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. They do. They're working every single day.
Absolutely.
They're working on their stuff in the way that I admire. And, maybe I can do this because, yeah, I'm messed up, but I also have value for the world. And I know that I can do the work for people.
Right.
That I do on myself.
Right. You can help facilitate that work, hold space for that type of work to be done. And so you kind of saw, maybe I'll do this therapist thing. And so you eventually, I guess, leave your job. Do you go right into becoming an artist, just moving into that?
No, I actually decided to go back and get a degree in applied behavioral science.
Right.
And it was a super expensive degree, and I'm in it for 2 years. And I would have either become a therapist at that point or a management consultant, which is the field that I was in, to the architectural and design industry. And so I could have become an organizational development management consultant. Words. So, but at the end of those 2 years, what I came to was I realized that I had to do the hardest thing I could imagine doing in my lifetime. And that wasn't becoming a therapist, actually, and it wasn't becoming a management consultant. At the time, I learned that I actually am kind of smart, and I didn't know that before. I was 30 years old before I really knew that I wasn't an average student. I'm actually just a different type of a learner. And at age 30, I finally embraced that and realized I can hold an enormous amount of data and then distill it down into a single idea. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking to myself, okay, do I go get a doctorate in philosophy? Do I get what could I do? And I finally felt like, well, I could do anything. Mm-hmm. But the hardest thing I can think of doing is becoming an artist. And do you know why? Because I have to take my core self, my inner being, from here out into the world. I have to create something, and then I have to put it on the wall.
Yeah, and see it.
People to look at.
Right.
And people are going to come and look at it, and then I have a price on it.
Right.
And people are either going to buy it or not.
Right.
And to me, that what seemed like the bravest thing I could possibly do, like just taking a part of myself. Mm-hmm. And now I that is a metaphor also for any creation Jenny, it's not just a piece of art.
Right.
It's a person's book. It's a person's podcast.
Yes.
It's that thing you take and you bring it out from here and you put it out to the world. That is the most vulnerable work in the world.
It is. I love how you got to that point. And then how did coaching get onto your radar? Okay. So I created an amazing art career, huge, beautiful successes I'm proud of. And I used my artwork really as a laboratory for that creative moment, like the pulling out of I'm just going to say source. Okay. Like I get myself entirely out of the way. Yeah. Right.
And I felt like I really had that dialed in, Jenny, dialed in. And I kept feeling more and more and more like there's more. There's a bigger way for me to do this work. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what the platform is. Mm-hmm. It has something to do with the book that I'm working on, and that has been, when I got my degree, I developed a thesis around synchronicity and creativity. That right. I know I want to get that book out into the world. That is another way. But I also feel like coaching is that direct connection with people and helping them get their beautiful work out into the world. And I can do that in a more direct pathway through coaching than I can with art.
Right.
I can impact a lot of people with art, yes, and with a book. But I want that direct transference of a creative legacy. With people that want to work with me to do that as well.
Exactly. I love the way you came to that. And so you joined our program, Get Gutsy Coach Training School. You said, okay, I'm doing it. What was that experience like for you?
Oh my goodness.
Coaching and the modules and the resources and the calls and all of it.
Oh, Jenny, I'm telling you, I had this thought the other day. I was like, so Jenny had to be born like, I don't know, I think you're like 13 years younger than me. I was like, gosh, she had to be born like 13 years later. Then she had to figure out all her shizzle.
Yeah.
And then get this training thing for it to come along in perfect timing for me to get what I had to get. I had some life shit to go through.
Yeah.
Figure out that I was open.
Right.
To coaching. And then I found your coaching, and it is the exact perfect fit for me to know this is my next step. And I just knew I had to do it because underneath, all of what I talk about is my spiritual core, and you talk about that. And that was the piece that was missing for me out in the marketplace in terms of looking for coach training. I knew that I had, if I just filtered away all the descriptors and all of the different marketing ways that I could describe me and my business, my spirituality is it's at the core. And you have that as well.
Yes.
So it was interesting to go through the modules because they triggered all of the stuff that I needed to clear out in order to do this work. I got really hung up around module 2.
What was that one about?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was something about bringing up our disbeliefs, not disbeliefs.
Our limiting beliefs.
Our limiting beliefs. Our limited beliefs. And so evidently I had to play out that for a little while.
And then they all start coming out to the surface and you're like, damn. and that's why we start there, though, because you have to clear out. You have to clear out, or else you're bringing all your stuff into the relationship with the client, and you're not able to hold space for them in the lightest way possible, the lightest, most powerful way possible. So it's intentional that we start, like golden key number 1 in the training is really looking at the personal growth path of coaching. Like we can't just start like, hey, let me tell you how to market, let me tell you all that. Like, and for many that's painful because it's like a slow build, but it's an intentional build. I say it's like that movie, The Karate Kid, if you ever watched that, like Mr. Miyagi, and he's like, Mr. Miyagi, I just want you to tell me how not to get my ass kicked anymore. Like these guys are kicking my ass. Like just show me how to do that. And he's like, wax the cars, you know, like wax on, wax off, go wax the cars. Like, because it's getting you strong from the inside out. It's teaching you discipline. It's teaching you that you don't have to hold on to this stuff anymore.
And Jenny, you were masterful at holding us there and saying, yep, that's what's going to happen. You're going to go deep and you're going to work. And I get it. And keep going.
Keep going. Yeah.
You didn't give anybody excuses for checking out. You said, yes, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be able to move forward. And that's what really allowed me to move forward through that time too. And it had an interesting effect on, it had a really great effect on my personal life as well, the things that I was dealing with. So it was like learning and doing the work at the same time.
Yes, and that's the cool piece. It's not just theory, but you're applying, you know, and I think that's one of the, I've been in this business for 2008 when I discovered coaching. I was like, woo, I'm going to do this. And I've had many a program, an experience. I've hosted lots of retreats, you know, and especially as I'm going through and having great conversations with, you know, amazing leaders like you and graduates from our program, I am so grateful that this work came through me. Like that this work came, I saw it. I was scared of it at first. I'm like, what, who, me? Like, wait, hold on. Like, is somebody else going to do this? And I was like, no, Jenny, this is your work. And we have this beautiful container that it's, you know, over a 4-month period. We're not like stretching it out over years. It's like, here it is. It's like, it's, you know, it's spacious, yet it's focused. And we're not just teaching you, but we're saying, hey, and then go practice with your peers. Like, here's a client we're going to hook you up with. Here's a coach we're going to hook you up with. Go and do it. You don't have to do that. We don't force our students to do that, but we encourage you to, because that's where the work comes to life. And then you start having clients coming into your world. And so how is that working for you with like people seeing what you're doing now? You're putting yourself out there and like they're coming.
And it's interesting because I really think that the process you led us through helped me know that I'm ready. If I hadn't gone through all the modules, I think I would have, I don't know. It feels to me like there was some sort of magical process in it that allowed me to get to a place where, oh yeah, I totally know what I'm doing here and I'm ready to get this out into the world. And I've seen a lot of us in our group do amazing things, especially over the last like 3 weeks. I don't know what happened, but with like a whole bunch of us just blossomed.
There was just, exactly. It was like, boom. And then this is, an amazing time too on the calendar to really put yourself out there, because we're coming to the end of the calendar year. We're welcoming in 2017 very soon. And, as you tap into the collective consciousness, and even in light of, the election and just where we're going, people are asking questions like, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? I'm not fulfilled. I'm not satisfied in my work, and I want more. And maybe I remember the same as you. It's so funny as you mentioned that, because I worked with a therapist for many years in New York City during my disillusionment in corporate land. And I was like, is this it? I've made it here and I'm making money, but yet this can't be it, right? And so, for years I worked with this particular therapist, and I remember thinking and I said this to myself, as if it was too late, and I said, if I had to do it all over again, I would be a therapist. That was my thing. If I had to do it all over again, I would be a therapist. I didn't know about coaching. I didn't know that was available. And I just thought, well, if I could do a do-over, I would be a therapist, but I can't, because I'm already in corporate, I'm already making money, and I've already established myself. I don't want to start all over. And I thought, therapy, gosh, you have to go through years and years of schooling, just a lot of red tape, a lot of process. You're sitting in a room with people. But the cool thing about coaching is that you don't need to be sitting within four walls. We have many therapists who come into this school and they're like, dude, can you show me how to be a coach? Because I want to bring that into my life. I don't want to sit in four walls anymore. I want to do my work on the internet. I want to have conversations like this on Zoom or on Skype or in a live retreat. This January, I'm taking a crew to Costa Rica, and because I've never been, I'm like, I want to go to Costa Rica. And I had 10 people who are like, yeah, I want to go too. So, that's the beautiful piece. It's it's not too late. If you think that, well, you'd only be able to help people if you were a therapist or a massage therapist or a yoga teacher or whatever. No, coaching is such a flexible path. That's, I think, what's so compelling about it.
And what I love about the coaching and client relationship is that it empowers the client to come to grow themselves, really.
Yes.
And I really, truly feel like every person has the gift to give of coaching. And sometimes we do that unconsciously. A lot of people do it unconsciously. They've been doing it their whole lives, but they've never gotten paid for it or whatever.
Exactly.
And it kind of, you can take any industry. You can have any kind of business and apply the field of coaching to it, because it's what you do as a leader.
Yes.
If you are responsible for even just one person, you can apply the learning and the gift of coaching.
Absolutely.
To that. I know a lot of people in network marketing, and I love the idea that to build a business in network marketing, no matter the industry, you are a coach. You're a coach to people. You're a coach to your clients. You're a coach to your customers and your team. And coaching really can develop yourself as a leader.
Absolutely. Well said. Coaches truly are leaders, and you have shown your leadership. I'm so happy you stepped into this path, and you really do embody that, that spiritual coach energy, just knowing that you have these gifts inside of you. You have this core that wants to be expressed, and you've been able to express in all these different mediums. I'm really excited to have your book come out. I know you're going to work on that. I know you're going to continue shine within our community. You are going to step into becoming certified as a Gutsy certified coach. I just see that all in your future. I know that you are here to touch many lives, and your story up to this point will serve you. And it's what magnetizes our people to us, is that they see, wow, that's what you went through. Wow, you're not perfect. Wow, you had that hardship and you rose above. So Lisa, I just think you're an extraordinary woman, and I'm really happy that you found this and you heeded the call. And I'm curious, how can people find out more about you? How can they connect with you online?
Sure. Well, I'm on Facebook a lot under Lisa Lamoreaux. My website is lisalamoreaux.com, and I'll spell that. It's LISALAMOREAUX.com. Right now, I have a freebie on there. I have a series of limited edition signed prints that I am sending each person who gets my mailing list. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's really exciting. I have, Jenny, I've painted over 5,000 paintings in 15 years. So I have a lot of prints available, and I will just keep giving them away until I'm not.
Take her up on that offer, you guys. LisaLamoreaux.com. Get your signed print. Very, very soon, I'm going to have a beautiful picture from Lisa painting. I'm really excited to see what it is, Lisa. Are you inspired?
I am inspired.
I'm inspired. It's like I've got my wall. I'm going to have my Lisa creation on the wall. I've invested in a piece of art from Lisa, and it's really beautiful stuff. It's like very ethereal, and it just feels like almost dreamlike, and that's what drew me to it. So everybody, go to LisaLamoreaux.com, get your signed print, join her mailing list. Just really get in tune with what Lisa's putting out into the world. It's very powerful stuff. Lisa, I'm curious your answer to our finale question. I love asking this question, and I love hearing the responses. What is the gutsiest move you've ever made, and how does it inspire your life and work today?
Oh my goodness. Well, there was a couple. I touched on one of them, and that was going from corporate America to self-employed as an artist. Yeah. But I would have to say the biggest one was when I was 20, and I had several very bad situations happen, not only in my family, but in my personal life as well. And the craziest thing I could use in my creative imagination to get out of that and to rise myself up out of the muck that was occurring, that I was like, oh my gosh, this path is not going to, I can't do that path. Mm-hmm. Was I decided to run in a pageant, to go into a pageant. And
like a beauty pageant, some kind of beauty. Yeah.
You and I both had that in common.
Beauty pageant.
So, yeah, it was a local Miss America, and when I saw, in my creative imagination, I could see myself somehow in a kimono, Japanese kimono, because I love anything Asian, and playing my flute, which I hadn't picked up in 2 years. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to So I literally signed up for this pageant, not knowing exactly what my talent was gonna be.
Right.
How it was even going to present itself. I knew what I wanted my platform to be. And it was about creative imagination. I just took myself there, and I actually won, and I went on to run at the state level, which was Miss Washington at the time, and I ended up being second runner-up there.
Woo!
It was an incredible experience. Are you kidding me? Standing on a stage in a swimsuit?
Totally. Luckily, in my pageant, we did not have to do swimsuit. But I can imagine it's like, here I am,
gutsy.
Naked.
It's gutsy.
Yeah. Yeah, gutsy. That is gutsy. And you did it. You just went for it. You just saw it. Like, just the call to do that was it was just so there. You couldn't deny it.
I couldn't deny it. And it still is interesting to me why I would choose to do some of the hardest things. Like, why? Why do I feel driven to do the hardest thing I can think of doing? I don't know.
I think for you, what I heard was the platform piece. It was because I knew the platform that I stood on, and the chance to practice. I'm just going to practice. I'm going to practice getting on the stage. I'm going to practice. I remember for me, it was the Miss New Smyrna Beach High School pageant, and I always knew I would do it because it was my junior year in high school. That's when you would do it. You had to be a junior, and it was like a fundraiser for the senior class or something. And so I knew, from the time I got there, I'm going to do that. What's my talent going to be? I didn't know. And then I might have even, you had to sign up for the pageant months prior. And when I signed up, I still didn't know what I was going to do for my talent like you. And then during that process, my sister dies. My sister dies during the process. And so she dies February 27th. The pageant, I want to say, was April or May. And so my talent ended up being, I wrote a poem. I just wrote this poem, and it was related to her death. And I recited it on stage, and I still look back, I'm like, how did I do that? What was that? And And I think the call was just, I got to practice. Like, there's something that I want to say. And this right now is the best way for me to say it. This is the best way for me to disseminate this at this stage. And so you do it. And I won too. Like, I won my pageant, you know, I won most talented. Like, okay. But it's this validation from the universe. Like, keep doing that. Keep taking those risks. Keep putting yourself out there. Keep signing up for things when you don't know what, like, all the pieces that you're going to need. Like, I don't know what my talent's going to be. I'm going to sign up anyway, though, because I'll figure it out. And you figure it out. And that's such a great message for everybody listening. Like, just go freaking sign up. Like, if you're called to sign up for Get Gutsy Coach Training School because you've heard all these amazing conversations, like, and you don't know what kind of coach you would be and how that's going to work and how you're going to fit in the trainings, like, do it anyway. Because if the call is so loud, it's so clear, you have to do it because the universe rises up to meet you. It's happened, you know, throughout Lisa's life. It's happened throughout my life. It blows me away. There's times when I do want to retract. I want to go hide under my covers. Like, Lisa and I were talking about that today. Like, I just want to go lay in my bed. And yet we don't, because we're here to serve. We're here to help heal the world. And coaching is such a fantastic way of doing that. Lisa, you're extraordinary. I'm so pumped that we've had this conversation. I've been looking forward to it. I look forward to continuing to work with you, to certifying you, to, you know, having you lead, you know, these calls that we do for our tribe. Like, that's the cool thing when you come into our school and then you choose to go for the certification, which is an option that we offer our students. Then we say, great, we want to showcase you because we need help. Like, I realized a while back, like, I can't coach all these people by myself. I can't do this. And so Elaine Wellman now is our assistant director. She's coaching people. And as we grow, as our school grows, there's going to be so many more opportunities for people like you, Lisa, to come in and help us help our people. So yeah, I know. It's so freaking right. And I love that you're way over on the other side of the country. We're like, you know, connecting here. I'm in Massachusetts and you're in Washington, right?
Washington
State.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I'm over here, which I'm realizing those of us on like on the edges sometimes, like, we have something in common. We have something in common, like way over on we have something in common. With this, I say, Lisa, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. Everybody go check her out, lisalamoreaux.com. Get that signed print. That's a really good free. I like that. That's clever. Very clever. And everybody keep coming back. We got so many more awesome conversations for you here during Gutsy Coach Week on Get Gutsy. This is Jenny Fennig sending you so much love, light, and faith as you get gutsy. I will see you next time.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and you're listening to Get Gutsy with Jenny Fennig. Gutsy leaders unite and ignite.
This episode of Get Gutsy was brought to you by Get Gutsy Coach Training School. This is the program teaching the future generation of coaches how to make a difference and a great living. So, if you haven't figured it out by now, I have built my business around this calling of a coach. That is what my podcast is based on. My book is based on that. The courses and programs that I've developed over the years have really allowed this calling of me being a coach to get unleashed in the world in such a massive way. And I am able to be a confident coach because I went through coach training. I learned what it took to be strong and supportive for my clients, and also how to be a phenomenal entrepreneur, a smart marketer, and a savvy business owner. And I realized that there was a total gap in the market for those of you out there who want to train under a successful coach, a successful entrepreneur, someone who walks her talk, is able to provide that gorgeous sacred container for you to claim your expertise and gifts, for you to package up the gorgeous value that you add to the world, and for you to be able to create a lifestyle that is beyond your wildest dreams, for you to be able to help as many people as you care to during this lifetime. And truly, being a coach is just, it's completely epic. So we are in the throes of our enrollment period for Coach Training School. I invite you to check it out. It is going to be absolutely extraordinary. We'd love to serve you in Coach Training School. Come on over and check it out. It teaches you exactly what you need to know now to truly make it as a coach, and you will not find anything in the market quite like this or at such a huge value. Come check us out, coachtrainingschool.com. That's coachtrainingschool.com. Gutsy Coaches Unite.